previous Rebbe was once on a train, and there was a discussion among the passengers about what the best economic system is. And the previous Rebbe said that the Torah doesn't subscribe solely to a capitalist or a socialist system, because the Torah is perfection. Therefore, you have the virtues of each system within the Torah. He didn't say at the time exactly what he was referring to, but in this week's Torah portion, some call this Torah portion the heart of the Torah. When I say some, I say more. I haven't read this in earlier holy books, but I heard people say it's a 30-second Torah portion. 32 is numerical equivalent to the word heart. So this is like the heart of the Torah in many ways. Because the Torah in this week's Torah portion tells us a lot about how we need to approach other people. In the laws of agriculture, Torah on the one hand says that everyone owns their own land, and everyone's given a real right to their own financial success. On the other hand, the Torah also highlights more of a socialist philosophy by saying that everyone's responsible to take care of each other. If your brother is falling, the Torah says you should support him. The Torah says that once every 50 years, all sales are off, and you have to return the land to the original owners. So there is an element of also the Torah empowering the needy, by the Torah saying that even when you are commanded to support the needy, they must come to your field with their own sickle and harvest their own food, highlighting that they also have to take responsibility for their situation and not just give it to them already. They have to also be involved. So there is a capitalist element of you can own and you can create whatever you like to create. There's also a socialist element of, in the end of the day, you have to take responsibility for others, and it doesn't all belong to you. And whatever, if you buy and sell now, it's going to be reverted in the Jubilee year. So there's something about this concept also in the chapter of Ethics of Our Fathers that we're going to read this week. We learn in chapter 5, there are 4 kinds of people. There are those who say, what's mine is mine, what's yours is yours. Those who say what's yours is mine, and what's yours is mine, what's mine is yours. There are those who say what's mine is mine, and what's yours is mine. And there are those who say what's yours is yours, and what's mine is yours. So it's interesting, the Rebbe's brother wrote a very lengthy, almost like a book, about pointing out various flaws in economic systems. And it was just recently discovered. I wonder how that will amplify the conversation. Either way, so in Ethics of Our Fathers, there is in that Mishnah a lot about economic systems. It seems that the person who says what's mine is yours, what's yours is mine, is talking about a social system. No one owns anything. It's all equal. And then there is the person who is the capitalist, who says what's mine is mine, what's yours is yours. And although the Mishnah doesn't have such nice things to say about him, and the Mishnah gives 2 opinions. One opinion is the capitalist is the average person. The other opinion is the capitalist actually is like from the people of Sodom. He's considered the worst of everyone. Considered like someone from Sodom. On that subject, it's a great story. Ramil Futafas used to visit LA pretty often, and on one of his visits, he was talking to some Chassidim, and Shmuel David Reichik, all of a sudden walked in, and Shmuel David asked a relative of mine, "Hey, can you bring me please a cup of tea?" So my relative went and brought him a cup of tea, And Mendel was able to smell anything that was untoward from a mile away with his sophisticated Chassidic senses. Called over a relative and he said to him, "Tell me, what do you know about the people of Sodom?" So he right away said the words of this Mishnah: "What's mine is mine, and yours is yours." He says, He says, "You have no understanding of the people of Sodom. Let me tell you about the people of Sodom. Because right now it's Hanukkah, and you work hard, and you're tired, and you're hungry, and you come home. You're about to light the menorah with your family. And you just remember, as you're about to light the menorah, there's a Russian immigrant next door who doesn't know about Hanukkah. And you drag your feet over to your neighbor, you give him a menorah, you tell him the story of Hanukkah, you light the menorah with him, and you dance with him, and you sing with him, and you tell him and his family all what Hanukkah is about, and they come out of there and they're alive." And so Ronaldo was like, "Yeah, and is that Sodom? Hey, why is that Sodom? That sounds pretty good." So Mendel said it's Sodom because why are you dragging your feet? Why aren't you alive? Why aren't you excited to go help them? If to drag your feet, it ain't good. That's the people of Sodom. What's mine is mine, yours is yours. I may give to you, but in that perspective, that whatever you need is a burden. Whatever I need is a pleasure. Is a something that is like the people of Sodom. But the question is this: the Mishnah in this ethics of our fathers is all about milsa de Chassidusim, going beyond what law requires. So how, in the middle of the subject, but going beyond what law requires, is there this mention of the wicked person who says, "What's mine is mine and what's yours is mine"? How does that fit in with ethics of our fathers? The Mishnah doesn't need to tell us in ethics of our fathers where the subject is to go beyond ourselves, not to act wickedly, not to act treacherously. The Mishnah must be talking to people who are not so treacherous, and yet the Mishnah is pointing out something deeper. And the question is what that is, especially because the Mishnah labels the wicked person, his behavior, and juxtaposes his behavior to the chassid who says, "What's yours is yours, what's mine is yours." So let's just unpack a simple expression of the wicked person that seems to be what the Mishnah is saying, and this will make things a little more clear and add to the question of what is it doing ethics of our fathers. So we have two examples of from history. The Tanakh talks about the wicked king Achav and the wicked queen Yezebel, who ruled over Israel, and they had this beautiful estate in Samaria, Shomron, and they had a neighbor named Navos, and they liked his estate. He had a beautiful vineyard. They wanted to extend their estate into his, and they offered to buy it. Navos refused, so they got two witnesses to falsely claim in court that Navos had cursed the king, and the king got the law to be implemented, and Navos was murdered because he was falsely accused of treason, cursing the king. Navos had said that the reason he didn't want to sell the land was because this was inheritance of his forefathers, and they didn't really have any interest in what he had to say, and they resorted to this. So Eliyahu Navi, Elijah the prophet, who was physically alive at the time, used the famous expression in Tanakh, "Retzachta gam yirashta." You've murdered, and you've also inherited. Not only did you kill the person, you also took his possessions. Pretty low. And he said, just like the dogs lick the blood of Navos, so too he told Achav that will the dogs lick your blood, which is what happened to Achav. Achav was involved in a battle, and he died in battle. And as Eliyahu and Elijah the prophet predicted, so it came to pass. Similar story happened to Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great was ruler over half the world, and he came to a country called Katsia. Katsia is described as being beyond the dark mountains, and he wanted to see how the country of Katsia conducts themselves. And so he came before the king. He wanted to watch the royal proceedings of how things are judged in this kingdom. And two people came before the king. Yankel had sold to Shmerel an estate, and Shmerel had discovered a treasure in the estate, in the field. He had dug and discovered a whole treasure of diamonds, and he wanted to return the treasure rightfully to the owner, to Reuben, because he said, "You didn't know about the treasure." And Reuben said, "Hey, I didn't know about it, and so it belongs to you." I just switched names of Yankel and Shmuel to Reuben and Shimon. Doesn't matter. The guy who bought it wanted to return the treasure, and the one who had sold it didn't want to accept it. He said, "It's rightfully yours. I have no knowledge about it. I have no right to it. It's yours." So the king said, "Hey, you guys have any children?" Yankel had a son. Shmuel had a daughter. The king said, "You guys should marry your children, and your children will inherit the treasure." Alexander is watching this, and he's not impressed at all. He says, "This is a pretty crazy place." He says, the king says, "What would you do in your country if this kind of scenario came before you?" "You know what I would do," says Alexander? "I would kill them both and I'll take the treasure." The king remarked, "I'm surprised that it rains where you come from, because I don't think the people of your country deserve the rain. It probably only rains for the sake of the cattle, the sheep, and for the cattle that are in your country, because you guys don't deserve it." That's what the Mishnah seems to be talking about. People who feel what's mine is mine and yours is mine, and they treacherously go and take and steal. But that can't be what the Mishnah means. The Mishnah must be talking about people who are behaving ethically. And again, because it's ethics are our fathers, and the Mishnah is talking about living on a higher level. So what then is it talking about? So the Rebbe gives a very fascinating explanation. The Rebbe says the Mishnah is talking about not what you're doing, but your perspective. Some people may give a lot of charity, but they don't feel good about it. They feel that what's mine is mine, and even what I give to you is also mine. I shouldn't have to give to you. And therefore, they begrudgingly may give, but they wish that the collector of the tzedakah would lose their number. They wish no one would bother them. They don't like the fact that they gave. They feel they give begrudgingly. They're upset about it, to whatever degree, but they don't feel good about it. They don't feel happy about it. The Orach Chaim comments on the verse, "Im kesef talve es ami es ani imach." If you will lend money to my people, to the poor amongst you. The Orach Chaim says the word should actually be read as, if you lend money to my people, you should know the poor is amongst you. That means the reason why you have a surplus that you're able to lend is because I gave the portion of the poor to you. I wanted you to have a share, to be able to do kindness. I want the world to have kindness. And therefore, I gave you an extra 10% in order that you should distribute this and help others. It wasn't just for you. It's sort of fascinating thing. Someone quoted the Talmud. I didn't see this inside, but this was said by one of our Shabbos guests, who says this in the Medrash. Very fascinating thing. The question is, how did the Jewish people in the desert, when they got the manna bread, how did they do kindness? Everyone got the manna bread. So they answered this. They said that some wicked people didn't get the manna bread by the doorstep. They had to go far out to get the manna bread. The righteous, the manna bread fell right by the door. Those who weren't so great, they would have to walk farther out. Can you imagine how embarrassing it was to walk farther out to get the manna bread? You weren't just walking farther out and having the burden of having to walk farther. You were basically proclaiming for all to see that you have a lot in your behavior needs to fix. That's why God sent you out to walk farther. So some other Jews, what they would do is they would get up early. They would go out far. They would gather the manna bread and bring it to the wicked person so that he shouldn't be embarrassed. That's what they did kindness in the time when the manna bread was falling. Fasting. The idea is, maybe God has wants this person to learn a lesson, and that's why he has to walk farther. But he got the lesson. The lesson was given to him. I'm going to take care of his embarrassment. He shouldn't have to be embarrassed. So The the person who is feeling like encumbered by the request for charity is not really getting what's happening. Hashem is giving him an opportunity to share, and what's not all his money. The reason why he feels encumbered is because he doesn't feel it's justified. He feels that he's just being exceedingly kind. He doesn't want to be kind. But if he were to realize the true meaning of the word tzedakah doesn't just mean charity. Tzedakah means righteousness, means to be correct. He's actually doing the correct thing because God didn't give it to him just for him. God gave it to him to share. If I go over to Yeshua Shlomo's house for dinner and he passes me a tray of chicken, I take a piece from me and I pass it down to a Bashalea, I'm not doing the kind thing. I'm doing the correct thing. You didn't give me the whole tray of chicken for me. Same as also whatever is my wealth. It wasn't all given to me. For me, it was given to me so I should share some of it. That's how Hashem created the world. There is an emissary of the Rebbe named Binyamin Carmiel in Bagadera, in Israel. Oh, Rav Zed, you came just in time. I know how you time these things. You're just in time to hear Geshmak HaMaisa. This is so you, this Maisa. This is, you have a Maz. So the emissary of the Rebbe in Gadera, name is Binyamin Carmiel. And he had a gentleman in his community named David Maiman. And David Maiman, unfortunately, was married for years, got children. He was 42 years old. And they visited many doctors to try to figure out what the issue was. And there was no issue. And so they were very distraught. What do they do? So Rabbi Carniel told them that very often the Rebbe encourages people to review the laws of family purity as a as not only because it says so in the Torah, but this is also a great blessing for having children, having healthy children. So perhaps you guys would want to learn with me the laws of family purity. So the offer came up several times, and perhaps they learned a little bit about it at their various occasions, but they never really implemented it. And Rabbi Carniel felt really bad for this couple. There was one February. Rabbi Carniel said to David, he said, "Listen, David, I have my most precious possession. My most precious possession is dollars I got from them. I never gave anyone $1 from them. They never gave them to me, and I know people give them away, but I never was able to give any of them away because I felt they're for me. But I'm going to give you $1 from the Rebbe if you guys accept to keep the laws of family. I'll give you $1. This is my greatest possession. Please listen to me. I care about you guys. Please do this." So David Maiman and his wife agreed to keep family purity, and a week's pass, literally within a month, she became pregnant. And Baruch Hashem, they had a child. And they came to Rabbi Carniel and they asked him for $1. But it wasn't so easy for him to give away the $1. He said, he kept on pushing them off. Not now, tomorrow, next week, next month. It's hard for me to part with it. I have to be in the right frame of mind. I know exactly the words he used, but he pushed them off for weeks and months. Finally, it was Yud Beis Tammuz in the year 2005, and Rabbi Carniel comes to this guy, David Maiman, comes to the home of Rabbi Carniel, and he says, "Rabbi, I'm staying here until I get the $1. I'm not leaving here until you give me the $1." So Rabbi Carniel, okay, yeah, what he's supposed to do. He was very distraught, but he made an agreement. Just then, he gets a phone call. Who's on the phone? His mother, Rebbe Carniel from Parshat. He says, "Binyamin, I have $1 from the Rebbe for you." What had happened? She had been in the audience of the Rebbe in 1976. The Rebbe gave her $1. The Rebbe said to her, "This is for your son. Give this to your son at home." So she wrote on the $1, "This is a gift to Binyamin from the Rebbe." And she never gave it to him. It was to give it to your son, and she never gave it to him. And so, so you imagine that how heartwarming this was for this man, for Rabbi Cornel. Like on the one hand, he gave away $1. On the other hand, it wasn't his dollar to give away. That was meant for the other guy. That's what tzedakah means. You're giving away something. Yeah, it seems like it's for someone else, but really, it's not for someone else. Hashem gave you something to share with someone. Hashem gave it to you to share. The story's been told in many ways about this guy who's very successful in business, and then things don't go so well. And he goes to the rabbi, and I'm not sure exactly what the OG story is, but the rabbi says to him, listen, Hashem distributes funds for us to share with others. So when you were making tens of thousands of dollars, you were giving hundreds of dollars away to tzedakah. So then things were simple for you. But when you started making millions of dollars, you had to give hundreds of thousands of dollars away to tzedakah. Things became a little more confusing. When you started seeing the zeros adding to your amount of tzedakah, it became harder. So Hashem was looking for a banker to give away the hundreds of thousands. And if that wasn't what you wanted, so Hashem looked for other bankers. That's the meaning of the words of the Mishnah. The one that there are 4 kinds of people, and the wicked one who says is one who says, what's mine is mine, what's yours is mine. It's not that he actually keeps it for himself. It's just he feels upset about giving it away because he doesn't feel that justified. But the reality is that Hashem gives to me what's in my wallet to distribute to others. Is not meant for me. So that's the meaning of the wicked person. Now, what's the meaning of the chassid? The chassid says what's mine is yours and what's yours is yours. How can you say what's mine is yours and yours is yours? Maimonides says if someone gives away everything they own, they're destroying the world. They're not going to give away. It can't become destitute and then need charity themselves. So just like we said about the wicked man, it's not that he actually takes from other people, but just his perspective. He feels what's mine is mine and yours is yours. I shouldn't have to give it to you. So to the chassid is not necessarily the one who actually gives away everything that he has, but the chassid is one who has the perspective that I wish I can give. I want to give all of it away. So let's say it this way. For the wicked person is the guy who gives you the money but doesn't give you the respect. The Mishnah says if someone gives someone tzedakah, they get 6 blessings. If they give it with a smile, make the person feel good, they get 11 blessings. And the Rebbe said, why the number 11? Because there are 10 soul energies. The ability to feel another person and to empathize with them and actually make them feel good about receiving tzedakah, which is not an easy thing. That comes from a deep place within the soul that's beyond the 10 soul energy. That's from the Kesser. That's from a much higher level within the soul. So that's why you get the 11 blessings, a blessing beyond limitation, because you went out of yourself to feel the other person. So the Russia is the opposite of the chassid. It's both in perspective. It's not what they actually do. The Russia is the guy who says, I feel bad about giving because it's not because that's all for me. The chassid is the one who may not give, but doesn't have to give. But you feel, you talk to the chassid, he wants to give. He gives you the respect, but maybe not the money. He wants to give. You feel speaking to him like he's there for you. So bottom line is that we got to be open to each other, and we got to give to each other, and got to feel each other. And that's why we bring down the brachas from Hashem. As one from last week in Hayom Yom, a Chassidim would say, the piece of bread that God gave me is yours like it's mine. And they would say yours before mine. And that was very fascinating in the letter. He said, what does it mean? Simple meaning is that they were like the chassid. What's yours is mine. This piece of bread that I have is yours like it's mine. They said it's yours before it's mine. But they didn't say exactly what it says in the ethics of our fathers. Ethics of our fathers says what's yours is yours, what's mine is yours. They said the piece of bread that I have is yours like it's mine. What do they mean? Fascinating. The Rebbe said, what draws down God's kindness to me? My kindness to others. My kindness brings God's kindness. So the piece of bread is mine. It's yours like it's mine. Because it's yours, that's why it's mine. Because I give, that's why I receive. The channel of kindness that God is giving to me has to do with me giving to you. Should all see the kindness of Hashem in our lives with incredible abundance in ways that make us feel very happy to give and give and give without limitations. And we should see the emes, gift of Hashem, the coming Mashiach, the Kein Mamish. Thank you. All right.